Hello, you're listening to Hibs Talk. I'm your host as always, Gav. I'm joined today by Dave, Stuart and Stephen, and we're not even going to ask how everyone's getting on because we're just jumping straight into the Hearts game and dissecting this mess on Saturday.
Just wait, stop, Gav, because I went after Stuart there.
Right, enough.
Even now, you still put me after Stuart.
I don't even care who starts. Let's just talk about the game. Scottish Cup semi-final went to extra time. Hearts won 2-1. Dave, your initial thoughts?
Okay. They were just in one-word answers.
You can do more than one if you want to do one. If that's how you feel, that's okay. If you just want to do one. Stuart, how are you feeling in the aftermath of the game?
Utter shite.
Utter shite. Stephen, any development on that?
Fucking miserable.
Fucking miserable, yeah. I think that sums it up. So we're going to run through the game. There's been some things I've seen online as well, so I kind of wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that. And then obviously after that, we'll kind of get it back into a bit more normal, have a bit more of a chat about Movember and then the Aberdeen game. And of course, a bit of fun finishing up with start bench sell. But so in the lead up to the game, there was a lot of chat about whether Stevenson would be fit. Doig was given the nod, and you know, his first Edinburgh derby and his first semi-final. Stuart, how do you feel he handled the occasion?
Big responsibility for the young lad. I genuinely thought he did well, but there was too often that he wasn't tracking back for me. I'm still quite not sure what formation we were playing on Saturday, whether it was a 3-5-2 or if it was a 4-4-2, but did the occasion get to the laddie too much? Potentially. But I don't even think Stevenson made the bench, so he probably wasn't fit. We just had to go with a lad who has started the season really, really well. So he probably did deserve to get the green light to go there.
Dave, you and me spoke, we're kind of having a Zoom call, kind of trying to watch the game together, and we kind of spoke about how McGuinness had kind of been tracking back over on that left side, and second half seemed to actually do a bit more before he eventually went off, as if he'd been given sort of more freedom to stop tracking back. Do you feel that kind of hindered his performance in the first half?
Yeah, I think it did, because it was stopping him being as creative as he could have been, because that 10-minute spell before he got taken off, he done more than he did in that 10 minutes than he did in the whole first half. But he probably needed to help out a lot because Hearts were targeting that side. That's where they were going down, and I think they've seen Doig as a vulnerability.
Stephen, it's sort of been noted that Doig is a centre-back, sort of like Hanlon when he came through, played left-back, but he's now sort of, he started the season really well, and then teams like, say, that Celtic game really sort of seemed to knock him out the team. Lewis Simpson, fair play to him, kept his place. Has he got to sort of adapt to kick on again, or do you think it's maybe sort of this is a centre-back sort of being found out at left-back?
Nah, to be honest, the thing is he's got the pace, and I think that's what makes the big difference for him. He can run up and down that left wing, and I would see him more personally as a wing-back than a left full-back. I think when he's playing as part of back four, I think he's a lot more vulnerable. And like Dave says, they just seem to target him. Whereas if they've got a back three, Hanlon goes out a lot more to help him. I think there was a bit more responsibility of him on Saturday, and that's where I think he lost it.
Definitely, I think his best games have came when we played the back five rather than the flat back four. And another defender, which I was reading through some of the comments on .net, Ryan Porteous getting a lot of stick for his distribution and for his sort of composure at times, and maybe sort of the occasion seemed to get to him.
Positioning
as well. Sure, what was your thoughts on Ryan Porteous' performance?
Yeah, again, somebody just found a little bit wanting. I think you could potentially put a mark against him for Hart's first goal. Totally lost his man, and we paid the price for it. But in general, how much did the Hibs defence actually have to do on Saturday? For me, and I don't want to change the topic too much, but Hearts just took their chances. And that's kind of what a cup game or a derby is all about. And that's kind of where it comes down to for me, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and the first chance that the real chance they got, they took at the back post. Too much space for Whiting at the back post, Dave.
Yeah, and I think obviously it's Porteous' fault. He's kind of lost his man, but like you said at the time, where was Paul McGinn? Like too many times we're seeing like almost like Paul McGinn and like Porteous. I didn't want to create something here that's maybe not there, but is the communication there between them two? Because it's happened against Rangers, where McGinn was just nowhere for his with the Morelos goal, and then McGinn pushed out against Hamilton, and then left the guy running 1-on-1 with Porteous, and then we gave away a penalty. And again, it's this time it's that the same kind of combination with them two. It's like if McGinn sees that Porteous is leaving him, can he not get in quicker and do something about it? But obviously didn't he?
Stephen, your thoughts on the sort of
I think going on what Dave says there, I think he makes a lot of sense. And again, it all seems to go down to the tactics. If we were playing a flat back four, which it looked like to me based on Doig's performance, the fact that McGinn was so far up the park a lot of the time as well, I think that there was a bit of sort of confusion as to what they were doing at the back. But when we've played 3 or 5 at the back, I think that there is a lot more sort of communication with McGinn and Porteous because they know that they've got that role to fill. Whereas McGinn was just far too far up the field for me a lot of that game, based on what I saw as the formation. So,
but Stu, you sort of mentioned it earlier. You felt that we did sort of limit Hearts' chances throughout the game.
Oh, I can't really think of too many. Like in the first half, certainly Rocky had a couple of saves, but it was more gather as opposed to an actual save. Didn't really kind of try anything. They were obviously going to be going for their 40-yard screamer that they love to score against us. None of them really came off. I think having Naismith come on for them was going to be big. No matter what the age of the guy, people say his legs are gone. God, that guy can still play. You've got to give him some credit there. He caused us a lot of problems when he came on. So that was kind of technically good from their point of view. But just still kind of real scunnered by this whole thing. Sounds terrible, but
Dave, we often talk about the impact that kind of Hibs subs had, but I mean that our best spell definitely came within the 45th and the 55th minute, and then Naismith and Haring came on, turned that around.
Yep, and I said it in the group chat earlier. It's like I don't think that Naismith particularly done anything to like win the game, but it gave them a bit more control. It stopped us maybe being as forward thinking, and it was a problem. And I think Haring is a good player, which as much as I don't want to say that, but for the avoidance of doubt, I thought Hearts were shite. Like I did think they were shite. It's just we were more shite at taking our chances.
Yeah, and it's not just the chances that we had on goal, Stephen. There was I think I can think of 2 off the top of my head where we had a numerical advantage. One where it was 3 Hibs attackers on 2 Hearts defenders. Another one where it was 2-on-1, and we took too much time. I think Doidge was one of them where he could have passed to Boyle or Nisbet. Another one where Boyle could have slipped through, and didn't. We just sort of I don't know if we had too much time or what happened. We just sort of really lacked that composure.
I think that I hate obviously singling out players, although I do it every single week. But honestly, like, see, since Boyle's got his new contract, like I don't know what I just come out and say it, but he's been shite. Like he's been absolute pish since he signed his new deal. And I don't know if it's because he's comfortable that he's got a new 3-year deal with us and he's not got anything to worry about with his future. He's maybe just using this as an adaptive season. Maybe it's to like work out the tactics with Ross or whatever. But he's just become non-existent in large parts of the game. And when we see him as a main focus for us to change from defence into attack, like it's just not there. His final ball's been poor. He's not been running at players as much as he used to.
I see. Just on that, you're right. Boyle has been really, really poor since he signed his new deal, and even the games that he's done stuff in. So you get the game against Rangers where he got the assist for the first one. He only touched the ball, or he only passed the ball 6 times or something. That was a start. That's an unbelievable start. So he's obviously not in matches, but I wonder what part of that is that maybe teams are targeting him as more of a threat, so they're stopping the ball get to Hibs. But we need to work out how to get the ball to him more. But that wasn't what Saturday was, because I felt like Hearts were sitting deeper, like not even like just they were just letting us play a bit in front of them. But Boyle had opportunity to run at them countless times, and I don't know if it's a confidence thing or that, but he didn't do it. When he was 1-on-1 with Michael Smith, he should have turned him inside out and just ran at him. That's what he would have done before he got his contract. But then instead he tries to pass to Nisbet, and it was just completely mishit. And then the one where Joe Newell, a perfectly weighted wee pass, slipped into Boyle. Boyle's heavy first touch, the exact same first touch that we've seen against Rangers, but it worked out fortunately because Barisic, poor defending, he done the exact same time, heavy first touch. I think
that first touch was what cost us that game, in my opinion, because that was when we were just starting to build up. And if we had scored that, which was probably one of our best chances that game, that would have turned it for me.
I think I understand everything you're saying, Stephen, about a new contract, but I have to kind of lean to agree more with Dave with the fact that he is one of our most dangerous players, and I think teams recognise that and do well to keep him quiet. I think, it's not great. We should be having our best players play well, but I think a lot of teams have went out to nullify him, which credit to them for that. But I mean, Stuart, he has been quiet. When he's played well, we've played well. Is there a bit of over-reliance? I mean, we were kind of panicking about if we'd sold him, but now he's not informed. Whatever reason, I don't know what your opinions on it are, but is there a bit of an over-reliance on Boyle?
There's always going to be teams at our level that are over-reliant on certain players. That's just kind of part of the game. We know what he can do. That's why he got a new contract. That's why he was getting courted by other teams during the summer. I'm wondering if he's actually carrying maybe a bit of a knock as well, where much like his assists stats, Dave, that you pointed out, his carrying of the ball stats have been shocking as well. So why isn't he running at players? All right, admittedly, he was taken out by, I can't remember the Hearts defender's name, from the first kind of 4 or 5 minutes of the game. And again, not going to get onto whinging about the officials yet. I'm sure that's going to be a 2-hour podcast later on. But no protection whatsoever that these guys have, and that's a problem that we do have in Scottish football, that if you're quick, talented, young, you're basically cannon fodder to get half down at any stage.
And I don't know if it was a confidence thing, but I mean, Boyle did have a quiet game, but there was 2 chances, one that pulled off that great save from Gordon from Nisbet's header, and another cross he put into the box which connected. He sort of crossed from deep, which I don't know if it was like the defenders didn't expect it because they expect Boyle to get to the byline and it was a tactical thing, or if it, like you say, it's maybe a confidence thing. He's not got the confidence to get to the byline and put in, so that's why he's trying to cross from deep instead. But if, like I say, I was encouraged that he does have that ability to now sort of cross from deeper, because if he can get back to his full game where he's getting to the byline as well. But yeah, well, we'll kind of move on from Boyle because we've been talking about him for a bit. We did get an equaliser though, header from Deutsch. Stephen, your thoughts on the goal? Great ball from Newell and an instinct header.
It's one of them, eh? It's Joe Newell. It's Joe Newell that created the goal, and it all came from him. Fair play to Deutsch for putting it in the net from 9 yards. But that ball from Newell was what caused the goal. Is
Deutsch, Stuart, is he a sort of instinct striker? Like, if it seems if he's got time to think, he's maybe more likely to miss. Where if it's a short, sharp one, he's more likely to either get a great attempt or like the overhead kick where he just sort of went for it, or the goal where it's just sort of came him and he's just a flicked on a header. Is he one of those players that if he's got too much time, then he's not as good?
There does seem to be a lot of debate online and on the forums of kind of how good is Deutsch. I'm very much in the Deutsch camp. I think he's fantastic. Talk about the guy's work rate is brilliant. You're not expecting your striker to score every game, however crazy that sounds. But if you look at, well, I suppose he can kind of offer a lot of different things. Remembering his hat-trick against St Johnstone last season, which got to kind of scaffed two of them in the back of there, or you can think about the goal he scored this season against Dundee United, where he absolutely rocketed it in from the tightest of angles that you can get. The guy's got a lot in his locker and he does bring a lot to the team. And give him an opportunity like the header he had on Saturday, he will bury it.
And like I say, got us back in the game and a couple of half chances towards the end of the game, but nothing sort of incredible. But well, I mean, we might as well just sort of get into the referees and the penalties sort of chat now. Halkett bringing down Doidge. Dave, was that a penalty?
Yes.
Stuart and Stephen, did you think it was a penalty?
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
100%.
And the one after,
What is Bobby Madden then?
no idea.
I know he's like a member of the Orange Lodges and that, but come on to fuck, that was blatant, right in front of him. What is the point of him standing there? That's ridiculous.
And just that, on you go, Stuart.
Well, no, sorry. There was a point just before the 90 minutes were up. It seemed like we were denied 3 penalties in the space of about 10 seconds. Not one of the opportunities was given. I was going absolutely ballistic in the house. I want to apologise to my neighbours, who I'm sure listen to Hibs talk all the way down in Kent, for that. They had probably a loud and entertaining Saturday night on their hands. But I was absolutely livid. So... And it's these kind of decisions that do leave you baffled.
And Halkett, just after that, on Boyle, did you think that one was a penalty, Stuart?
Halkett on Boyle. I'm trying to remember it
Dave,
now. That's shocking.
what's your thoughts on it?
I'll pass on.
It was exactly the moment. There was 5 seconds. It was in the same spell you're talking about,
Yeah.
Stuart.
Oh, sorry.
5 seconds after Doidge's one. No, I don't think that was a penalty. It was the first one that was the penalty for me.
Aye, Boyle was chancing it there. Yeah, it went down very easy. I don't know if...
Boyle chucked him to the ground first, and Halkett kicked out at him. That's what happened. So.
And then we did end up winning a penalty. Newell winning the penalty. Dave, was that a penalty?
No.
Stuart,
it was a bad.
Yep, you've seen them given. You're raging if it's against you. You're delighted if it's for
I know
you.
there was sort of goal line technology and further officials stuff, but if VAR was there, Stephen, is that one of the ones where they're looking at it for a long time?
No would have got a red card if VAR was involved.
Sort of looking for that contact, because it
100%.
was sort of quite close, but I agree with you. I don't think there was contact.
I did genuinely think that he just caught his knee before but he was already going down anyway. I did think at first that he caught his knee, but they just replayed it and replayed it and replayed it. And when they done that, you could see that it wasn't any contact.
And I'd seen the obviously the penalty Nisbet set to take it. I thought it was actually quite a well hit penalty, so I hit the sort of crossbar and woodwork. A bit unfortunate, in my opinion. I'd seen a video from Murray Minter 75. I think he titled it a game of 2 penalties. Dave, we didn't lose this game because we missed a penalty. It was more than that, wasn't it?
Yeah, I feel like, and I don't know how to justify this, right? I feel like we were cheated, but not even by the officials or that, by Hibs. I feel that somehow Hibs have cheated the fans, and I don't know how. I feel let down and I feel disappointed and everything about it like that, and I feel like the blame just needs to go on Hibs for that game.
What mentality is Jack Ross putting in the dressing room for this game? It's fair enough. Somebody like, and I'm sure you guys watched the match kind of build up with David Tanner, Yogi Hughes, and Tamit Manis, having your club captain Paul Hanlon, who's as big a hippie as the rest of us, saying it's just another game. I get that, but it's a derby. No, it does mean more.
I agree in that. I didn't even know I said that, and that's. Aye, like that to Hearts. See the derbies, they're not another game. It's a chance to get it up us, and that's what it feels like. Whereas, and it's any opportunity that we've got to rub it right in them or put them in their place, we fuck up. They win every single meaningful derby. It's as simple as that. We've got shite mentality.
We've never beaten them at a neutral venue.
Shite mentality, and it's something that it's unacceptable, and that's why I'm blaming the club. It's like we did that to ourselves. Hearts were shite. Hearts did not beat us. We beat us, and it needs to change. Stubbs changed it. Alan Stubbs changed it. Why is it going back? Why is there fine margins? Jack Ross is like, It was the fine margins. Why the fuck is there fine margins when we're playing against Hearts that are in the Championship and they're not very good? They were there.
Yeah, they've got to be well behind us in preparation and fitness.
Spot on.
It
There
didn't
should
look
not have been fine margins in that game of football, and I think it's unacceptable that Jack Ross is coming out and saying that that's what it was, and as if that's okay. Well, Jack Ross, it's not okay. Right? Yeah, I'll tell him when you go to the press conference, get him to.
Stephen, it's a big question, but a kind of unfair question, I guess. But what's got to change?
Everything. The mentality of the club, like as a whole, it feels as though we've went into a business. In my opinion, football's just went to the back of the queue. There's no sort of passion and fair enough, they put out all the promo videos and that to get the fans on side, but see, when you look at performances on the pitch, absolutely nothing in that team. I don't see any proper drive. I see us going back to the way we were under Hecky, and we were sitting on leads, and like Dave says, it was Stubbs that changed all that. Stubbs had us believing again in attacking football, fast-paced, free-flowing football. And there was that desire in the players that we actually wanted to win games. I think that, like I said last week, it's just become a results-based game now that there's no fans on the back. And it was funny because I was watching like Roy Keane after the Man U game yesterday against Arsenal, and he said the exact same thing about Man U. You take the fans out of Old Trafford and they just play. Like, that's 4 games on the bounce.
It's still a fantastic. He says like it's still a fantastic place to be playing your football. It's not an excuse.
Me and you played down at St James's Park, just in a play on the pitch thing. There wasn't any fans, but you couldn't believe that you were in that stadium.
Yeah. And it's like fans shouldn't be playing that much.
You're playing a derby. You're playing a derby at Hampden with a chance to get a final, and that was our chance to sort of semi-rectify 2012 for me. And they just fucked off. Like, none of them came out and actually wanted to play.
You know what, though? There's a lot of positive stuff with the club right now. We're doing really well in general on the pitch. Take the last 48 hours out of it. We're still sitting third in the league. We've got a lot more in the way of the commercials going the right way. The communication's a lot better. The media stuff we're putting out is absolutely fantastic. So it's not all doom and gloom. But at the end of the day, what do us fans care about?
Yeah.
We care about winning the big games. Yeah, it's fantastic to get a 1-0 win away to St Johnstone, well, late penalty, snatching victory from the jaws of a boring draw. But we need to win the derbies. You need to win the semi-finals of the Cups. And that's what it matters to me at the end of the day.
Stuart sort of mentioned the big games there, Dave. How does this how do you feel about the start to the season post this game?
Well, it's kind of, and this is where I need to be careful and not overreact. And this will sound like an overreaction, right? But I actually took my head glasses off and just kind of stepped back a wee bit. And that's me being completely honest. And I was looking at all the matches and I was like, how have we performed this season? And fair enough, we're sitting third. But I think those fine margins that Jack Ross speaks about is we've actually won quite a lot of games by fine margins. We've won 5 or 7 games that we've won have been by 1 goal. A couple of them by penalties, very soft penalties at that. Like the last minute goal against St Johnstone. Games that we've not had enough quality to go over the line. We've drew 0-0 Motherwell, 0-0 Ross County. 2 games we probably should have been winning. Any tests that we've had, apart from Rangers, I felt that was a good performance. There was a bit of fight. There was a bit of battling. I saw everything against Rangers that I would like to see in a derby match that I never saw. Apart from that game, we were soft against Aberdeen, got beat. Went to Celtic Park. I think the first half we maybe played okay, found us a couple of goals down. Then we just rolled over and let Celtic play with our tummy for the rest of the match. I've been quite disappointed. When you look at it as a whole, fair enough, we're doing well, but I think it's so close to being quite a poor start to the season. Whereas,
what was the game that we had like 0 shots on target? Because it was
Motherwell
at home. Yeah.
Again, that's a team that you would expect to be challenging us for a European spot by the end of the season. But it's fine margins, which Jack Ross is saying, and I wonder if we go into every game thinking to ourselves, right, let's just try and edge this. Like, we're really trying to just scrape a win in every game, and it actually feels like it with the type of.
How long do we give Jack Ross as a honeymoon period? That's a genuine question, because obviously he's now been in, give or take a year. Massive break, obviously, for the problems and the issues in the world. We're not blaming him for COVID just yet, but I think we've got to give him time to be able to kind of put his stamp more on the team. He's had one window, essentially. He does seem to be getting the back in. He is getting the right things in. But football's always going to be about margins. Look at Aberdeen. How often have they finished third in the last kind of 8-10 years? And how often do they win a game by two or more
I've never
goals?
wanted to watch Aberdeen. I think they're boring to watch, and I would hate that for us that we go down that road. And I'm not wanting all the Jack Ross out stuff and that I've seen is just ridiculous. Obviously, we're not anywhere near that stage, but after a derby, and you lose a derby in a cup semi-final, you're going to get criticised. Like, the team are going to get criticised. We're not going to sit here and be like, "Oh, that's fine." It's just, obviously, we're absolutely raging. We're passionate in that, but there is a lot of evidence sitting behind that we don't really win big games. So that's why maybe Friday coming up is going to be very telling as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the point against Rangers, but then that's and a point against Motherwell where we were at home and Motherwell arguably sort of dominated the midfield. Celtic we lost, Aberdeen we lost, Hearts we've now lost. Stuart, what do we need to do differently in these big games?
Win them. No, too easy an answer, that isn't it? I think it comes back to what we've been saying. It's the mentality. Without sounding like an absolute moron, we are Hibs. We shouldn't be kind of trying to play to other teams' football. They should be adjusting themselves to play to our strengths, especially in these kind of big games. Get Martin Boyle running with the ball. We've got Gogic now, who's able to sit in the back. All right, definitely didn't have his best game on Saturday, but we need to change something. I don't know if we're missing that match winner. We all wish kind of Scott Allen all the best and hope he's back as soon as possible. But he is a real miss to the side.
Stephen, what do you think we're missing for those big games?
I think it's already been covered. Like there's not really much else to say on it. I think it's just.
Do you think obviously we're missing Scott Allen, but do you think once Kyle McGuinness is up to full fitness, have you seen glimpses of?
To be honest, like looking at the players that we've signed, I genuinely think that Jamie Murphy's probably got to be our best signing this season. Like Jamie Murphy's come in and made a complete instant impact, and he's actually playing like he was when he was at Motherwell before he got his big move down south and stuff. Like he's probably one of our most active players, and when he came on, he actually made a difference.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I've seen very sort of different opinions again on the Facebook groups and also on .net. Some people saying that they were very impressed with Murphy, saying he was very direct. Every time he got the ball, he wanted to go towards goal. But then I've seen other people criticising him because he done nothing with it.
Well, the other people that have been criticising him need to have a word with him.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're kind of asking for better quality. Is the argument there? He didn't have the quality in the final third. He never done it with those runs.
I just don't think he never had much of the ball, but he was always looking for it. He was always making the space and making the runs to receive the ball.
Was he fit enough to come on?
I don't know. I mean,
was that a gamble?
I don't know. He seemed to be eager to get in the ball and driving towards the defence, but that end product wasn't there. Maybe sort of credit again to Hearts for the defensive performance for that. But Dave, what was your thoughts on Murphy?
I thought he was good, and that's exactly what I want to see. I want to see him running at players and driving forward and trying to make things happen. And I don't think you see an awful lot in football anymore. People running with the ball, and it's a lost thing. And I want to see our players doing that.
I mean, we kind of we don't need to cover the Hearts penalty. Hearts got a penalty. They scored it. They won the game. We've kind of covered everything else with it. But I guess sort of looking at derbies as a whole, this is a question to all of you. I'll be honest, I was trying on Saturday to put on Hibs songs, to start drinking a bit earlier, to get pumped up. I couldn't do it. I genuinely, I couldn't get myself into that false hope because I was worried about. I was like, well, it's Hearts at Hampden. It shouldn't be like this because they're in the Championship. But it was Hearts at Hampden. I couldn't do it. Is it going to be more difficult?
I completely fell into it. Completely fell into it.
Is it going to be more difficult for you next time, though? Say next time we're playing Hearts in a big game at Hampden. Is it going to be more difficult to get up for these big games as a fan?
No, because I genuinely want to believe that we'll do well and we'll actually break this shitty duck that we've been in. Like, every single time that we play Hearts, I genuinely hope that we win.
Yeah.
And I feel as though we're going to win. But obviously, 5 minutes into the game and that changes.
Stuart, how
Even when we were walking out, like, it started to change.
I was an absolute nervous wreck from about Wednesday. Now, I'm not suggesting that the team are feeding off that because online there seemed to be a hell of a lot of positivity, things like that. But again, it just comes back to it. There's something in the Hearts psyche that knows this isn't just another game. They know what they need to do, and that's a message that's not being communicated to our teams. And that's not me blaming Jack Ross. That has come from a number of managers. I'm marginally older than you boys. I remember Alex Miller. And again, record against him was shocking. Jim Duffy, all the way through. And we just do not have a good record against him. And there's nothing worse than having a bogey team. But when that bogey team's your derby, I've got a bit of a soft spot for Everton as well. And when I moan about a derby records, my mate John just looks at me and laughs. As he says, I've got no right to complain about it. But there's something in that psyche that isn't right for us.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the last sort of 16 games, thanks to one of the guys that sort of put this in the group chat, the last 16 games, Hibs have won 6, Hearts have won 6, and we've drawn 4. But Dave, I mean, over the last sort of 30, 40 years, Hearts have had the upper hand. The big games at Hampden, Hearts have had the upper hand. How are you going to feel going into future games?
I'm kind of the same as Stephen, if I'm being honest. It'll depend on form and all at the time, but like I always feel quite confident, and I don't know why. I don't know why I fall into the trap, do the exact same thing. But then the game kicks off and I instantly become nervous. But I don't know. I didn't even want to hear about them for a while. But like, this is what I was saying to my Hearts mates. It's like, enjoy your wee week. You're going to get pumped in the final anyway, and then reality will sink in when you're away to fucking shitey teams and that every week, and we're battling it for Europe. Just piss off, back, get out of my sight for a year.
Aye. Potentially too if they'll firmly keep up their form.
That's brilliant, Dave. Can we get that on a T-shirt? Honestly, I think that's a perfect message for them.
So, I guess I try to finish this on a positive. It needs to change. It can't continue going this way. Could we, the club, like I say, in that dressing room, obviously they've got a while before they play Hearts again because they're in the Championship. Could they use this as a catalyst to change that mentality? We've seen it done a few years ago, but it obviously we never sort of played them at Hampden. Could we see beginning of a change?
Why when it changed has it just went back? I can't put my finger on it, Gav. I don't know why we've got a shite bag mentality against them. I don't know why. Because if you speak to fans in that, like the fans in that are all passionate and they shouldn't have. I just think it's a lucky bottle, and yeah, in quality.
But that amazes me. Look how many leaders we've got on that park. We have got guys who are club captains and things like that coming to us. We've got no doubt of leaders, but is there no immediate drive? Is there no... Is it this attitude of, oh, it's just another game? No, I don't want us going into a derby like we're playing St Mirren.
See, speaking of that, right, wasn't Jack Ross the manager of St Mirren when they beat Hearts in the League Cup final?
Danny Lennon.
I think that was Danny Lennon, was it? No.
Was it? So it was just after...
I seen Danny Lennon in my shop, and then I wrote 3-2 on my street and got a photo with him. From my heart, it was brilliant. And then Danny Lennon was the guy, you've made an arse of that, son. I was banter.
Danny Lennon does seem like a really funny guy. He's done some great stuff with Clyde since going in there. So we sort of finish up with the Hearts game. We did have some questions from you guys. Leon had asked on Twitter, when the season is all over, what do you think qualifies as a successful season?
For me, third. I don't think the rest of the league's that good. I think out with the top three and us, I think it doesn't look the best. So I'd say if we finished fourth, but miles off third, I would say that was an average season. I wouldn't class that as a success.
Stuart?
Got to get European football. One for the coffers, two for attracting the better standard of player. I'd agree with yourself, Dave. I think it's a real coin toss for the out with the old firm ones. There's been some real funny results already this season. I think all of us kind of expected Motherwell to be up there again, and they're just not doing it. Killie blowing hot and cold as well. Aberdeen just plugging away as they do. But I reckon they're there for the taking. I reckon we can get third and get to another cup final, whether it's the league or the Scottish.
Aye. Scott's question here, Stephen, he'd said potentially in the minority, but do you think there's been an overreaction to Saturday? Gutted to another derby loss, but on reflection, feel poor finishing and a dodgy penalty were the main reason for the loss.
No. I don't think there's any overreaction at all, to be honest, because every one of us think the exact same thing.
I mean, there has been some overreaction. Some people saying Jack Ross out. It's ridiculous.
Oh well, that's an overreaction. Not to what we're saying.
Yeah.
I think if people are calling for Jack Ross to leave, then I think there's an issue there. People putting the full blame on Kevin Nisbet, that's an overreaction. But for the overreaction of feeling let down by the club and let down by the players on the pitch, I think that's perfectly within our right to feel that way, because it was just an absolutely horrendous performance. And like we've already discussed, I think it was more than just a penalty and a couple of missed chances that cost us
getting into good positions,
yeah,
right, and no having good quality to do something with that. I didn't think that's like when you be like, oh, we missed loads of chances. I'm like, no, we missed loads of opportunities to have good chances. That was just a complete lack of quality. And I think you can be annoyed about that, because I can see why people are like, oh, we didn't play that bad. Because when you think about what happened, like gone through 1-1 twice and that, and folk are like, oh, that was a chance. I'm like, but it was bad play that fucked that chance up. So, yeah, we did play bad. You know what I mean? That was the margins. It was like if we had a bit more quality and played better, we would have won.
Yeah.
I don't think it's quality, though. I think, again, it's confidence. And I think it's also telling that who was the man of the match? Their goalie, who did pull off 2-3 brilliant saves. Did he have a right to save them? No. Any other day of the week, the Nisbet headers back of the net, Doidge's spectacular bicycle kick, that's back of the net as well. You know what, the boy's just a fantastic keeper. Celtic must be kicking themselves at letting him go.
100%. They're dropping that Burkus and putting Scott Bain back in. Craig Gordon's better than the two of them.
Hibs reject. Yeah.
And the final question here is from Charlie. He's asking, does Saturday prove that our bench doesn't have enough quality to change the game? Obviously, we spoke about Hearts making an impact from the bench. Yes. Dave, are we short on the bench?
The League Cup showed that for me. We played there are no reserves. They're first team players that are on the fringe and looking to break in, and they didn't do enough for me during 3 League Cup matches. Not one off game, 3. And that to me shows that they're not got anything to bring on, like for to change games.
Stuart, thoughts on the bench strength?
I agree to a point with Dave there. I think when you're making 8 or 9 changes, things are going to be a lot stodgier on the pitch. But there was some perfect examples there for guys like Mallon and Hallberg. Okay, Hallberg definitely getting played out of position to come on and show, this is why I should be getting first team games, and none of them were showing it. Like looking at that bench on Saturday, you could argue Murphy was there, but other than that, you were looking at a lot of stopgappers. I wasn't looking at that and no picking on the young lad and saying, Gullen's going to come off and run them ragged and do something for us there.
That would become as well, though, because we did sign well. it's not like we're like, oh, we didn't sign good players and that. We've signed Gogic and Nisbet, and they've went straight in. McGuinness might obviously come good, Murphy. So it's maybe we just need another couple of windows to maybe just improve the quality, and like we got rid of people that weren't obviously getting game time in that. So maybe it is a case of that.
I mean, Stephen, Jack Ross has spoke about how they use the budget to kind of get quality and have a smaller squad rather than quantity. That's right. Is that something we're just going to have to get used to for the meantime until the budget for the squad goes up, probably post COVID and stuff?
I think it is right to a degree, but when you look at the bench, like we are really short there now. Like Tom James scoring at the weekend.
I know.
Letting Horgan go, letting Adam Jackson go, who arguably was probably one of our best defenders last season.
But then
Obviously,
also
there's maybe reasons behind them leaving and all the rest of it, and that's fair enough. But make direct replacements and at least keep a couple there. Fraser Murray, look at him at Dunfermline now, in his element, because he's getting played in position, he's getting played for 90 minutes.
Aye. Well,
Could someone like Docherty have done a job for us on Saturday?
100% he could have. He should have been our number one target, or Ross McCrory. Both of them would have made a big difference.
I do feel we've got to maybe balance out by saying Docherty made it very plain and simple. They wanted to play down south. Now, nothing Hibs can kind of do about that, unless we're going mental with the budget.
Yeah, apparently McCrory played us about a bit, so fuck him. He sounds like a wanker. So finally, what did you do Saturday night, guys, after the game? I'll start. I ordered a doner kebab. I was going to have a nice healthy meal, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to doner kebab and chips as well, just a comfort eight. What did you guys do?
I got absolutely annihilated with the rest of the Ramsgate Hibs supporters club while they were trying to calm me down. Bless them. Boys, if you're listening, really appreciate that, and sorry for my questionable behaviour. Cheers.
Dave, what did you get up to?
I was in a bad mood, so I didn't order food for ages. We were getting a Domino's, then went to order Domino's, and Domino's was closed, and I was like, this is just my life. And then it was 8:15, and my deliveries at my bit always take like an hour and a half, so I was like, right, what will be faster? So we got a Pizza Hut. The Pizza Hut came, it was shite, no Domino's. It's such a disappointment. And then my mates were like, oh, do you want to come online and play this game or that? And I was like, no, I don't, because I feel like I cannot be happy tonight. I cannot make myself smile. So watched some TV in a bad mood and went to my bed. I'm not even kidding you, it's pathetic.
I think I was asleep by 10:15. I had a few more drinks and passed out by 10:15. Stephen, what did you get up to Saturday night?
Absolutely nothing. Nothing at
Nothing.
all.
You just sat and just stared into against the wall or something.
Sat and stared into the darkness. Oh no! Actually, I went and took my grandma home from my mum.
Did you have a nice chat with your grandma at least while you were dropping her off?
No, I sat in silence. sat in silence and listened to Jack Ross going about fine margins.
I had Jack Ross there that man on Saturday night. I'd have flipped my shit. I can't talk about it. Right, let's move on. Moustaches!
So getting on to a more cheery subject, obviously we spoke last week about doing Movember, and so I said about how I'd shaved for the first time in 7 years. I posted a video, I don't know if folk that have seen it. Very strange, very difficult to get used to. Stuart, obviously you're doing the Movember with us as well. I know you've done the Movember in the past. What sort of got you involved with Movember?
It was actually, like probably a lot of people started just as a bit of a laugh. Did it at university with a few buddies, just to try and raise a bit of awareness, trying to kind of see who can actually grow a mustache. The answer was not many of us. But being able to try and push it forward and be positive, raise some money, raise some awareness. And this is my 11th year, so I've just kind of carried on through it.
11th year, that's tremendous.
Thank you.
I know we sort of got your sort of links on the podcast last year to kind of, but like obviously this year we're kind of taking your lead and sort of joining in as well. My fiance is finding it very difficult to get used to. Let's just say sacrifices have been made, and I'll have to be patient and leave it at that. And another thing, right? This very weird thing. My face is different. It seems there seems to be more of it under my chin, and I don't know how that's happened in the last 7 years. I don't know what's changed. Something's different, but yeah. Stephen, how have you found sort of? You're sort of clean shaven a lot, aren't you?
I'm not this clean shaven, no. This is what I was saying, right? I was like, I don't realise how much facial hair I've actually got until I've not got any. And I swear to God, like that photo that I put up yesterday to you, I was like, I genuinely look like Lloyd Christmas for Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah,
It's so
you do.
bad. But no, I'm getting used to it now. Everybody else hates it. I think I'm like at the sandpaper stage after 2 days now. So.
Yeah, I mean, I shaved on Friday and then shaved this bit again, and I think I've done it too soon because my skin's not used to being shaved that often. But very sensitive, so it's a lot of moisturiser on it, which is it's not used to getting either. Stuart, you started you've been doing it for 11 years. Any tips for sort of growing in the mustache and maintaining it?
Oh, just PMA, mate. Positive mental attitude.
Right.
Nah, it'll come. You'll be kind of looking at it in about 5 days' time and go, "Oh my God, what an absolute disaster this idea was." Not just you, Gav, I promise. But it'll all come in time for it. You'll look back on and kind of like day 25 and think, you know what, this looks spectacular. Men want to be me, women want to be with me. It'll be all good in the end. I'll hopefully again be doing the Hibs Movember as well. I've been able to collect about 80 pictures of mustachioed Hibs legends from days of yore and putting them on the social media. So that normally gets a good few likes and shares and people kind of talking about players of their past. So hopefully again, just another way to start a bit of a conversation.
Have you got a favourite ex-Hibs player with a moustache? Or favourite moustache from Hibs player?
You've got to look at Arthur Duncan or this is really embarrassing. What was his blooming name? He's the players' representative. Handed us the Scottish Cup.
I know the guy you're talking about. I can picture him. Aye, tremendous moustache.
This is going to annoy me. I'm going to have to look that up. Can we kill for time?
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Someone.
I'm just going for the Rod Petrie. Me. Like.
I mean, Rod Petrie is somebody who did have a tremendous tash all the time. He's definitely had a beard comb in his pocket, didn't he, Dave?
Yeah, as if you try to involve me in this.
Yeah, aye.
I'm just
He's got a big like Hibs talk badge over David.
I'm pleased that he's on that, but this is not my segment.
So the player I was looking for embarrassingly was Tony Higgins.
Tony Higgins, aye, tremendous moustache as well. But yeah, I mean, I have to say, I think I remember sort of seeing yours last year and thinking there's no way I could get to that in a month. I'll see how it looks after sort of 30 days, but Stuart, you're definitely a tremendous moustache to kind of compare to. But the last I checked, I think we'd reached over £600 ourselves, Long Bangers and Down the Slope collaboratively. So thank you to everyone who's donated. A couple of people that sort of said from listening to the podcast have donated, obviously friends and family as well. So thank you to everybody. Please donate what you can. Really appreciate it. And like I say, hopefully raise a lot of money for a fantastic cause.
Fantastic overall. So thank you very much, everyone.
Just to say, I'm above Gav and Stuart now. So
right, Stephen's a wanker. Give us money so we can get above him.
It's day 2, Stephen. So it's a marathon, no sprint, son.
So we're back to league action on Friday this week. Aberdeen away. Not the best game, Dave, to kind of jump back to after. Not the easiest game to kind of bounce back to.
Probably not the easiest, but it's maybe an opportunity for the Jack Ross to maybe prove critics wrong that are maybe starting to notice the fact that we're not winning the big games, because it's not really been a talking point up until now. So it's a chance for him to be like, right, apologies for the weekend, and all the players as well to go out and show that we are ready to battle for third.
Yeah, sure. I mean, could the Hibs players and management take this as an opportunity to, not just have an easy game and just go over it, but like a big game to make a statement?
Yeah, I think it's the perfect opportunity. We do need to bounce back, almost liken it to losing the League Cup final in 2016. Tough away game, We know what needs to be done. We're going to go out there and do it. I'm genuinely feeling really positive. Last time we played Aberdeen at Easter Road, again, small margins. I don't want to swear in front of Dave and his favourite Jack Ross idiom there, but it was a penalty. Nothing else was really created in that game, and that was it. We've not had a happy hunting ground at Pittodrie in recent years, but they've never gone out there and kind of turned us over or anything like that. I reckon we'll actually go out there and win, and we're going to see guys like Gogic, who obviously didn't feature for a false positive, whatever the hell that is. So I reckon we're going to step up and actually do something on Friday, and we're going to have a great weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say that Aberdeen sort of were maybe a bit more on the ball in terms of the midfield that game, but didn't create much. I remember Hedges had a chance, and like Stuart said, a penalty was sort of the deciding factor. We've definitely limited their chances. Gogic potentially will be back. McGuinness obviously is now sort of getting more and more game time. Dave, how would you like to see us line up to kind of combat what you saw with McCrory and the likes from the Aberdeen midfield? Ferguson, obviously, who's had a great start to the season.
I think we need to maybe play a 4-2-3-1. Would I go one up top? Well, probably wouldn't. I'd probably go with Diamond. I think we need to sack 3-5-2. It's not working. Sorry, Stephen. And
controversial.
Yeah, and I'd probably drop Boyle. I think he needs a reality check. I'm sorry, or maybe taking out the spotlight a wee bit. Maybe another way to put it.
Yeah, bring him on as an impact,
and maybe he comes on and has an impact and gets confidence from that. But we signed Drew Wright for a reason. I mean, I don't think he's been particularly good, but
I think he might still be injured.
Is he? He was on the bench.
Yeah.
Was he? Was he on the bench? I'd honestly never looked at him. Was he on the bench on the weekend?
Mm-hmm.
All right, okay. That was great to see him back then. So yeah, that is an option. Stephen, was that an option you'd like to see us go with? Showed how much attention. The bench wasn't that bad. So let's go back to that previous bit. The bench wasn't that bad.
Not necessarily an option I'd like to go with, because I would rather start Boyle, but I think Dave's spot on. Like, he needs to come out of the team a bit. Just we've done it with Scott Allen. We took him out of the team when he was playing every week, and when he was coming on, he was making a difference. So I think just give Boyle a couple of runs out as a sub, see if he makes that impact, see if it gives him that confidence just to be able to come on and do something, rather than leaving him for 90 minutes wanting. And plus, it'll change the mentality of Aberdeen as well, because they'll not have Boyle to block off. They'll have a different challenge. And then when Boyle does come on, people will be tired.
I know we've got a big thing about this partnership up front, but see, when I initially went 4-2-3-1, it's because I'm worried about losing the midfield battle. Like, they've got a strong midfield, and I don't think, I honestly don't think our midfield's that strong.
I mean, me personally, I think there's an opportunity for the midfield to be strong. I think McGuinness, Newell and Gogic with game time together played as a three, a central three, could be a very, very strong three, but then it's what do you sacrifice in the rest of the team. Stuart, Dave's kind of hinted on it there. Jack Ross spoke a few weeks ago about how the strike partnership was kind of being undeniable and sort of like they were scoring goals, and his preference has always been to play one up top, but he's kind of playing two because they're making a case that the goals have dried up in the last few games. Is there maybe a time to change it and go one up top?
I would stick with it as it is. I think right now it would be the wrong message to either drop Doidge or Nisbet for kind of different reasons. As was said in the Hearts section, Doidge's work rate is absolutely fantastic, and I would hate to knock the young laddie's confidence for, okay, margins are missing that penalty, but Nisbet has been absolutely fantastic. I know we were talking about Murphy being the signing of the year so far, but bloody hell, what an absolute bargain Nisbet's been, and that laddie's going to produce for us for years to come.
Me personally, I understand what you're saying about Doidge. Obviously, he did get the goal, but again, you're talking about, we're talking about trying to get the bench stronger. If you've got somebody like him on the bench to come off and cause Aberdeen trouble, It's not the worst thing in the world. To me, I'd like to see us getting players in the midfield, get McGuinness, Newell and Gogic as a central three, Murphy on the right, and then either Wright or Boyle on the right-hand side, and Nisbet through the middle, 4-3-3. Get players in the middle, get dominating that midfield. Nisbet's good enough. He can score chances if he's up there himself. Boyle and Murphy a bit more freedom to join the attack. I don't think he'd be isolated.
You've got Gullen that can come on for Murphy as well on that left cutting in. That's what he's kind of been doing. I think that's Boyle on for Murphy, fucking Doidge on for Nisbet if it's not working. There's a lot of, I agree, there's a lot of scope to maybe try that.
Stephen, would you change formation? Would you make changes?
I'd do 3-4-3.
You're a madman.
No, like I say, I mean, if Stevenson's not fit, I would not play Doig as a left back on a flat back four. He's just not got it in him, in my opinion.
So then, Mackie, if you're playing the back four?
What, that surfer guy?
He's looking tremendous, by the way. That is some head of hair he's got. I said this on Twitter. I genuinely thought it was Scott Allen when I see him.
He looked like he's bulked up, though.
Yeah, a lot.
I was struggling to know who the hell he was before the name came up on Saturday.
He looks
nothing to do with the beers. But.
I don't know. I think, obviously, with that being Mackie's first proper game back, even though it was only, 15, 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Well, about 30 odd because he played the whole extra time and then.
Fair enough. I think it'd probably be quite a tough ask for him to come out against Aberdeen because who plays in there, right?
With the change about either Hedges or McGinn or
Hedges has been the player of the season for me. Like Hedges is running that Aberdeen team now, and I think any left back having him run at them is a bit of a struggle. So maybe I'm just giving Aberdeen too much credit, but I don't know. 3-4-3 for me.
Different. I mean, I've seen Chelsea at times play it well, but other times they've been rubbish with it.
Yeah, on Football Manager, I play a 4-2-4, and that seems to work for me. So
it's no Football Manager. It's not as realistic as people like to think. I've seen a guy win the league with Hamilton, so that kind of ruled out Football Manager being realistic. Gogic in the midfield, though. So what's your score predictions for the game, guys? Dave, start with yourself.
Oh my God! Right, if I'm speaking as a Hibs fan, we'll win 2-1. If I take myself out of being a Hibs fan and think about the season as a context and how we play in these games, we're going to get beat 2-0.
Stuart, score predictions.
2-0 to the Hibs.
And Stephen?
1-0.
I'll go 1-0. Jack Ross winning by narrow margins.
96-minute penalty.
I'll take it now. Dodges is a tough place to go. So we're going to finish up with a game start bench sell. Just quickly before we jump into the game, obviously like to pass our condolences to Kevin Nisbet and his family. I'll be honest, I've got a really good relationship with my dad. I couldn't imagine anything worse than losing my dad. It must be really difficult. And just sort of, thoughts with him and his family at this time. Really tricky. But like I say, we're going to finish up with a game of start bench sell. To get ourselves in the mood, we've done a quiz, and Callum, who's sort of doing the quiz, had sort of mentioned about 3 players of a very similar mould, and then to me I went, right, there's my next start bench sell sorted. So we're thinking of defensive midfielders, but players that can sit in front of the defence, do that canty role. So we have Matthias Jack, Marvin Bartley and Alex Gogic. So you've got to start one, bench one and sell one. So Stuart, starting with yourself, what's your sort of memories of Matty Jack?
Big supporter of Dundee United from memory. He was absolutely fantastic. He was genuinely what we need, and there's a reason why we keep going on about the Matty Jack role even now. What we're looking at, just kind of 22 years later, something like that, from probably when he first came into the club. Absolutely fantastic, and a real gentleman as well. I was lucky enough to meet him a couple of times. Always had time for the fans and to chat about his time at Hibs. It was just as hard as nails. There was a game against Rangers, and everybody's favourite crab, Barry Ferguson, tried to put him on his backside and Matty Jack just ran up to him, and it looked like he was going to absolutely end him, and Ferguson ran and hid behind the referee as well. There was a brilliant picture in the paper of it at the time, and that's exactly what he would bring, and that's maybe the steal that we've been talking about probably all podcasts that we've been missing.
Yeah. And like I say, we spoke about attitude and stuff and things like that, and obviously it can take time for players to settle into a club. That wasn't the case with Marvin Bartley, Dave, was it? He just came in and he got what Hibs was about, and if anything, sort of took it on even further.
Yeah, and he had a good attitude in derbies and that. So, again, exactly what we're missing, that kind of character that kind of buys into it straight away and understands it. But then he dinged this podcast, so he's getting sold. Not
that's why I was glad Gav came to you about that rather than me.
I've got a long memory, I don't forget. So
he does listen to the podcast though. So
Marvin, you let me down, mate. We were waiting on you to come on for the 100th episode, along with Jamie Murray and Graham Maffey, and you went and trained with Livingston, and then.
How dare he go to his job?
But it's the fact that he just didn't hear anything at all. And I'm just like, Scottish Cup winning legend, never meet your heroes. Never met him.
Well, you never met him. That's the problem.
He denied the opportunity to have the conversation, and then he went and spoke to another podcast. Move on.
And we spoke about him settling in quickly. Alex Gogic has just straight settled into that team. It seems on and off the field, Stephen.
100%. He's got the right attitude, and he's the direct replacement for Milligan. Because obviously we don't talk about Marvin Bartley anymore. So I think that, like you say, he gets Hibs. He knows what we're requiring. He's taken the step up from Hamilton quite substantially. He's not had his best running games really, but I mean he's got his first international call-ups.
Well deserved as well, yeah.
And that just shows how far he's come. So I think definitely a good player to have just now, and he looks scary as well. So.
I think there was a few people that were kind of like, we're signing a player from Hamilton, how good can he be? But I think we've kind of realised he was too good to be at Hamilton, and Hamilton were very lucky to have him, and now we're very lucky to have him. He's a very good player, very disciplined, and yeah, okay, maybe not the best game on Saturday, but sort of Stuart, just what we've sort of been missing.
Very much so, yeah. Stephen touched on it. We lost Milligan and Bartley, and we just didn't have that last season. How many goals did we let in that you're thinking, look, somebody sitting off the defence should have been able to mop that type of thing up. Jack Ross has identified that. We've went out. Okay, I'm sure Gogic was a free agent, but he definitely had other options. His stats for last season with Hamilton were absolutely phenomenal. I think he was certainly in the top kind of 2 or 3 defenders for interception, or definitely defensive midfielders for interceptions and breaking up play last season.
Yeah, I think
he's continuing that on.
Yeah, with the interceptions. And like I've said this before, it's the little things he does. Even on Saturday, there was an instance where Hearts had kind of like a counter-attacking opportunity, and he closed the player down out on the Hearts right wing, or left-hand side, and just sort of held them there. No intention of sort of going for the ball, just sort of bothered them so that it held them up, and it allowed the defence to get that extra 5 seconds, get back, get organised, and then be tougher to break down. You know, and it's just that little things that you miss. Those extra 5 seconds make all the difference. So yeah, he's been a tremendous bit of business. So we're starting one, benching one, and selling one. Dave's already gave one of his away, but Dave, what seller two you're going for? Who you starting and who you benching?
Yeah, I think there's an obvious order, right? I probably should be starting Matty Jack, right? But I didn't see him that much. It's definitely one of a player that I've got to know more by looking back because I was young.
It's one of those players where he does a lot of, like that role. You do a lot of stuff, but as a young player, a young fan, you don't notice it as much.
He's not getting all the plaudits. He's not the hero. But like when you look back,
you have to remember what team he was in, though. Like when you had guys like Mixu and Latipe and Zatelli, nobody was running to the shop to get 19 Matty Jack on their back.
That's what I mean. It's like when you look back, you're like, well, what a player in that. So you would be starting him. To be fair, I probably would bench Bartley and sell Gogic, if I'm being honest. Bartley was brilliant, won the cup, had an absolute superb mentality against Hearts, and he still hates Hearts, and I still think he's a decent player that left Hibs too soon. So, yeah.
He's now the reserve manager at Livingston, and if and when Holt goes, I can see him easily just sort of stepping in. I think that he's already earmarked for that, to be the Livingston manager with, of course, Martindale still there as assistant. But I would not be surprised if Marvin Bartley's a future Hibs manager.
Yeah.
You'd really see that.
I could see that.
Yeah, very possibly.
Hopefully that's in like 10 glorious years after Jack Ross, and Jack Ross getting headhunted to go do better in England than he did last time. But yeah, aye. So Stephen, what order are you going for the three?
I did see quite a bit of Matty Jack, and I think Stuart has obviously emphasised like how much of a player he was and how big an impact he had within the squad that he was playing in. So I would definitely probably say start Matty Jack. I want to just say bench Gogic, but I can't. There's just not been enough there yet, so I bench Bartley. Sell Gogic.
Stuart, what about yourself?
Yeah, I'm going to be extremely boring and agree with my fellow panellists here. Start Matty Jack, bench Marvin Bartley, because if you watch that Cup Final DVD, Marvin Bartley talking about the Hearts games, it's just absolutely fantastic. And unfortunately, we're selling Gogic, and if Gogic is listening, and I apologise, mate, but my name's Callum.
It's very early days. I think I think we're having this conversation in 5 years' time. It might be slightly different with Gogic's legacy, whatever it sort of ends up being. I'm just going to go a bit different. I'm going to start Marvin Bartley. Probably recency biased. He won the Scottish Cup. His attitude against Hearts, the fact that he spoke about how a big deal it was for him to captain Hibs against Hearts at Tynecastle, all that. For all those reasons, I'm starting Bartley. I'll bench Matty Jack, and sorry Gogic, but at the moment I'm selling Gogic. So let us know who you'd start, who you'd bench, and who you'd sell at HFC Talk. Guys, much planned for the rest of tonight?
I'm going to go and relax because I felt like this was the last stage of getting it off the chest. I knew that this podcast was coming. I didn't want to do it.
Has it been at least a wee bit therapeutic getting some things off your chest?
A wee bit. Ken, what's disappointing?
What?
Hearts mates are listening. They've told me they're going to listen, so they've thoroughly enjoyed it. They've probably turned it off after the Hearts bit, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. If the listen counts up, I'm happy.
Every week they because I contradict myself. That I walk about and tell them that I'm not bothered. It's a fucking last year's cup, and I didn't care, and where I do care, and it affects me greatly. So they get the real me on this. That's why they listen. But that's what I say to them. Thanks for the lessons.
It's like the 3-word review. I put that up, and I was like, wow, that's had a lot of traction. And then I started to look through it and see it had been taken over by Hearts fans, including a former Hearts player. And at first I was like, oh no, they've taken over it. And then also the little part of me went, yeah, but that's a lot of traction though. That's not the worst thing. So it's all about those clicks and those engagements. Stuart, what's your plans for the night?
Yeah, just a bit of dinner and probably watch the football.
What are you having for your dinner?
Campfire stew. A
Wow.
Slimming World special. Oh, beautiful, by the way.
That sounds good.
Credit to
Slimming World,
Mrs. Wilson.
Aye, I'll need to look that one up. That sounds.
That
What's it sort of involved with it?
When you starting it?
Sorry?
When's Dave starting Slimming World?
He's already lost 1.5 stone.
Last stone and a half, 1 stone, £1.
All right,
well
so
done.
Thank you for elevating it a wee bit, Gav. I like that. Big me up.
You'll be there in no time.
I just set it up for Gav to knock out of the park. That's what it was.
Stephen, what's the game on tonight that you said you're going to be watching? Is it
Leicester and Leeds.
Leicester and Leeds? Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Quite a good one.
Should be a good game. Like I say, I'll probably edit the podcast, have a bit dinner, and watch that game as well. So sounds good. So, but yeah, hope this has been therapeutic for you guys to kind of get some stuff off your chest. Enjoy the rest of your weeks, folks. Enjoy the game on Friday night. Follow us at HFC Sock. Guys, like I say, we'll put our links in for Stuart, Stephen and myself's Movember's page. You can find Dave on Twitter and tell him he's a prick for not doing it. But yeah, thanks again for everyone who's supported. Enjoy the rest of your night, guys.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Cheers.